Dear students of the third secondary stage, welcome back to our English episode on the Egyptian TV. We're happy that we're back with you with our episodes that we always feel they are important and useful for you. برحب بيكم جميعا وطبعا بنتمنى ان انتوا تكونوا متابعين جيدين لبرنامجنا. It helps you all to have more and more of our English language. And if there is a chance that you passed by and you didn't get the chance to see our episode, please follow us on YouTube. هنعيد تاني ونكرر لو حصل انه ما قدرتش تتابع حلقتنا في ميعادها تقدر تتابعها على قناة اليوتيوب الخاصة بالقناة التعليمية بتاعتنا، وتقدر كمان تعمل كل الكومنتس أو تبعت أسئلة بعد اليوتيوب وكلنا هنقدر نرد عليها في أي وقت. فبليز follow us and be always there for help. Today we're going to start one new unit. عندنا unit 5. What about unit 5? Today unit 5 is a very interesting unit because we're going to have a poem. يعني إيه poem? Poem يعني قصيدة. Is it the same way that we read it and study it like any other text? لا. القصيدة ليها مميزات وليها أشكال مختلفة تماما عن أي reading text. طب let's start together what we have for our unit for today. Okay. Unit 5 is speaking about a poem. The writer is called Emily Dickinson and the poem is called If I Can Stop. If I Can Stop يعني لو أقدر أوقف. Let us find out what we're going to do together. So, the first one is the definitions. We're going to have some few definitions together. What about the definitions that we have? The first word is alive. What is the meaning of alive? Alive means living and not dead. يعني حد حي. Okay. Let's take the other word, challenging. يعني ايه challenging؟ دايما نقول عايزين شوية challenge. What's the meaning of challenge? Challenge يعني في نوع من الحماس والمغامرة. It's interesting but difficult to do. Something interesting, but it's difficult to do. It needs some effort. Okay, the third word that we have is moving. Moving, احنا عارفين moving معناها يتحرك. لكن moving ممكن كمان تبقى معناها بتحرك مشاعر. So if I say this is moving, it's making you feel strong emotions, especially sadness. يعني في مشاعر بتبتدي تطلع وخصوصا مشاعر الحزن. لما أقول مثلا this poem is moving. What is a publisher? A publisher يعني الناشر. So, the publisher is a person or company that produces books for people to buy. Okay, a robin, what's a robin? A robin ده طائر. That's a small brown bird with an orange front. هذا الطائر اللي جزء كده لونه برتقالي من الوجه كده. This is a robin. Okay, aching. يعني ايه aching؟ ache معناها pain. زي ما بقول I have a backache. Backache يعني ألم في الظهر. Stomach ache ألم في المعدة. Headache يعني صداع. Toothache يعني ألم في الأسنان. So aching is the verb معناها there is something that gives me pain. بتوجعني. And that's why aching means pain. Another important word is fainting. يعني إيه fainting؟ Fainting يعني بيفقد وعيه. يعني to lose consciousness, being unconscious for a short time. يعني يبقى فاقد وعيه لفترة من الزمن. طيب, what's the meaning of in vain? In vain يعني بدون جدوى. Useless. It's useless. It's something in vain. يعني لما أقول if you keep studying but you didn't answer exercises, it's in vain. ليه؟ لأنه ما فيش فايدة. You need to practice. You need to get more practice. So without success يعني حاجة لم تنجح. Okay, what's the meaning of ease? ودي دايما بنستعملها لما نقول مثلا these people are sitting at ease. يعني at ease يعني براحة. They are sitting comfortably. في نوع من الراحة. No stress. That's the word ease. So it makes something less difficult. لما حاجة تبقى فيها فقدان للصعوبة يعني ما فيش صعوبة, then you feel it's at ease. Okay, now we're going to move into the language notes, and the language notes are very important. ليه؟ لأنه language notes are the expressions that we use. وطبعا according to the new English exam, the system that we're going to have, there is nothing to study. مش هنقعد نحفظ واللي بنحفظه بنكتبه in the exam. No, we need to understand, because if you understand well, you're going to solve well. But if you study, ما فيش حاجة هتيجي copy paste. فلازم we need to understand. So it's important to understand all the expressions that we have so that we can use them anyway. The first expression that we're using is called stop from something. This is an expression in which we can use the word to stop him from doing, for example. So I can say, he can stop the heart from breaking. بمعنى يمنع. So I can say, I cannot stop him from smoking. لو في حد بيدخن, there is no way to stop him. So I say, I cannot stop him from ing, from doing, breaking, having, getting, and so on. The second expression that we have is called in vain. وده لسه كنا بنتكلم عليه وقلنا in vain معناه useless, بلا فائدة. فلما أقول if you do all this effort without practice, it's in vain. يعني no need, it's useless. So he tried to solve the problem, but in vain. حاول يحل المشكلة, but in vain, يعني with no good result, with no result. Now we have two words. These two words are a little bit confusing. يعني confusing يعني شوية ممكن يلخبطونا. زي كلمة traditions and habits. What's the difference between them? Traditions is the normal thing that people used to do from the very, very past. زي لما نقول مثلا Egyptians eat smoked fish in شم النسيم. This is a tradition. نوع من التقاليد that people do all over the time. لكن الhabits هي نوع من الترند that I practice a lot. زي لما أقول reading is my habit. عادة معينة I like to do, بس it's not a tradition. هي مش تقليد مجتمع. So التراديشن خاص بالمجتمعات, بالsocieties, دي traditions بتاعتهم, تقاليدهم. أما الhabits عادات فردية, شخصية, individual. Okay. Now it's a tradition, or it is a tradition to wear black clothes at funerals. نوع من التقليد المجتمعي إنه people wear black clothes at funerals, يعني في العزاء. His habit was to get up early. عادته, it's an individual habit, so it happens like for one person only. Okay, to follow the rules and to break rules. What's the difference between them? To follow the rules يعني يتبع القوانين. So people everywhere have to follow the rules. لازم يتبعوا القوانين. But if I didn't wear my seat belt, يعني لو ما لبستش السيت بيلت بتاعي, I'm breaking the rules. أنا بكسر القاعدة. So this is important. They are opposite, of course. Okay, if something is very moving. What is something is very moving? يعني في حاجة مؤثرة. لما أقول I saw a film yesterday and it was very moving. It was very moving يعني حركت مشاعري, مؤثرة. So it's something emotional. Her poem was very moving. Now we're going to move into an important part, and this is about the phrases with break. Break is a verb, and if we add to the verb a preposition, غيرنا من الverb, حطينا له preposition, عملنا حاجة اسمها phrasal verbs. الverb لوحده يعني حاجة. أضفت له preposition بقى فيه معاني كتير. زي ما انتوا عارفين واخدناهم قبل كده, turn on, turn off, turn up. كل واحدة منهم بقى ليها معنى شكل. ليه؟ لأنه preposition that is added changed the meaning of the verb. طب تعالوا مع بعض نشوف verb break. If I add a preposition to it, ايه changes في المينينج اللي ممكن تحصل؟ عندنا ايه؟ The first one that we have, break لوحده means يكسر حاجة. That's to break. Okay. طب لو أنا قلت to break rules, هنا أنا كسرت قاعدة, مش معنى أكسر, لكن كسرت قاعدة. ممكن أزود على الverb preposition ويغير معناه, and I can add a noun, وكل noun بزوده بيديني معنى مختلف. So break rules يكسر القاعدة, يخرج عن المعتاد, to break a certain type of life of people. Okay. The second one is to break the law. To break the law means يكسر القانون. So I can break rules. زي ما أقول في المدرسة, students have to go in uniform. If you go in jeans, for example, you break the rules. This is the rules of the school. لكن break the law يعني يكسر القانون. زي لما أقول you cannot park here. If you park here, you're breaking the law. لأن ده قانون إنه ممنوع الركن هنا. So that's to break the law, يخرج على القانون. To break heart. What's to break heart? Like I say, your words broke my heart. What is to break my heart? يعني يكسر قلبه. يعني it's like they are very, very tough. They are very hard. Another word is to break promise. ودي مهمة قوي. To break a promise مفيش وعد بيتكسر لكن that's what we say. If you tell me that you're going to be honest but you didn't do it, then you're breaking the promise. If you tell your child or if you tell your friend that you're going to give him this book and you didn't, then you're breaking the promise. So to break the promise means يكسر وعده أو يخلف وعده. To break a record, شوفوا قصة تانية خالص. To break a record, الريكورد طبعا دي يمكن كتير منكم بيستعملوها. الريكورد اللي هو القياس للشيء، زي لما أقول إنه a runner used to run in the marathon and this time he breaks the record. Breaks the record يعني عدى الرقم القياسي، زي بنقول كسر الرقم القياسي. So that's يحطم رقم قياسي. Another one is to break down. ودي it's very very important. When I need to break things down معناها بعطلها. زي لما أقول مثلا my car broke down in the street while coming here. My car broke down يعني عطلت. مش لازم بس الكار، أي حاجة تانية بتشتغل بالماشين لو عطلت I can say it broke down in the past. Another thing which is very important to break out. ودي مهمة قوي قوي لأن يمكن غريبة علينا we don't use it often. So this one is very important. To break out لما حاجة تشب فجأة أو تحصل فجأة وعادة شيء قوي جدا. زي لما أقول مثلا the fire broke out يعني نشب فجأة which is like something started suddenly. ده معنى كلمة to break out. لما أقول إنه السترايكس أو الاعتصامات they broke out ابتدوا فجأة. البروتستيشن أو الديمونستريشن اللي هو المظاهرات they broke out ابتدوا فجأة. So this is for something that is tough, usually fire, usually war, حرب, it broke out لأنه بتبقى فجأة. Another important one is to break into. وbreak into دايما بنستعملها لما نقول the thieves broke into the shop. broke into the shop يعني اقتحموا المحل which is something فيها نوع من العنف and at the same time secretly في نوع من العنف وفي نوع من الغموض وانه ده مش حقهم. يعني دايما بيبقى the thieves break into the house at night or they broke into the house at night. معناها يقتحم عادة by force أو بالقوة. Another important one is to break through. And to break through is one of the very important لأنه يمكن شكلها غريب قوي عن break عكس كل اللي قلناه. With break قلنا يكسر قاعدة break the law يكسر قانون أو يخرج عن القانون. قلنا break into. break through completely the opposite. break through فيها نجاح. It's about success. لما واحد ينجز حاجة قوية أقول مثلا I was able to break through that test. The test was difficult but I was able to break through it. The exam was difficult but I was able to break through it. So to break through means to do it successfully. ينجح في حاجة كانت تقريبا صعب النجاح فيها. That's the meaning of breakthrough. كلمة تانية we usually use which is break the ice. ودي دايما نستعملها كده لما نخش على ناس we don't know وبعدين نقول هاي ازيكم ونفتح أي موضوع. We usually break the ice. يعني بيذيب التلج. مش التلج that we eat لكن it's about الجو نخليه ألطف شوية. يدخل مثلا teacher into the class بعد امتحان رزل شوية. The boys are not happy, they are really sad, they are angry, they are upset. فيخش يقول لهم حاجة fun, he's breaking the ice. So to break the ice means يخفف أو to get a kind of a nice feeling into an environment or a tough group. دلوقتي احنا we're going to finish. احنا خلاص we finished the verb of break with all the words that we have. Now we're going to come to the function box. وايه الفانكشن بوكس؟ فانكشن بوكس عامل زي كده اللانجوج فوكس اللي هو فيه حاجات structure وجرامر. This is very important. مش بس to learn لكن to practice. واهم حاجه مش كمان to practice ان انا اتعود استعملها كل يوم. We're not learning language. مش بنتعلم انجلش عشان السنه دي. بنتعلم انجلش عشان السنه الجايه when we join university. بنتعلم انجلش عشان لما هنشتغل. ف this is one of the most important subjects اللي بعد كده هنبقى دايما بندور how much do we know English عشان هو ده اللي هنحتاجه. ف it's important to have these expressions to learn about. Let's come to one of the function box. To summarize and paraphrase. يعني ايه summarize and paraphrase؟ حلو قوي. في ناس بتقول summarize بختصر أو بلخص. very good. عايز ألخص كلام. I said a lot of words وعايز ألخص what I said. طب أقوله للناس إزاي؟ يعني أقول لهم إيه to start السمري بتاعي. فأنا اتكلمت في حاجات كتير وعايز أوصل لهم الموجز بتاع كلامي. I can use one of these expressions. ممكن أقول what she's trying to say is that، يعني اللي هي محتاجة تقوله كذا، وهقول بعد كده in one sentence. Or I can use an expression like can you paraphrase, can you summarize that، تقدر تلخص الكلام ده فيقدر يقوله in one or two sentences. Or I can say I think I can summarize the poem. I think I can summarize it. أقدر ألخصه. I think it means. After the word it means هقول إيه اللي أنا قلته. So I can say I think it means. Or I can simply say in other words. ودي بنستعملها جدا لما هنعمل الرايتنج بتاعتنا. في الرايتنج أقدر أقول حاجة ولو عايز أوصفها بعد كده أقدر أقول in other words و I explain it again. طيب, let's move now to the most important unit, the points that we have in the unit. كده بنلخص مع بعض كل اللي عندنا في اليونت نقوله مرة واحدة. طيب, what do we have? Number one, if I can stop one heart from breaking, I shall not live in vain. If I can ease one life that aching, cool one pain, help one fainting robin unto his nest again, I shall not live in vain. We're looking at the poet Emily Dickinson. Traditionally, poems usually have 3 or more verses. لو احنا كده جينا اتكلمنا على اي poem، اي قصيدة، هنلاقي دايما في يعني متقسمة لحوالي 3-4 أجزاء. ده المعتاد. طب can poems have different shapes؟ طبعا احنا حتى in Arabic عندنا أشكال كتير من القصيدة والمعلقة وأشكال كتير مختلفة. طب هل عندنا نفس الكلام من English؟ Yes. In every verse، الverse اللي هي المقطع في البويم عندنا في الإنجليش، في كل verse there are words. These words rhyme at the end of some of the lines. يعني ايه they rhyme؟ they rhyme يعني صوت آخر سطر في كل جملة بيبقى تقريبا نفس الصوت. زي لما أقول for example bird, heard, jeered، كل دول كلمات the same sound. kind, mind, bind، كلهم بيدوا the same sound. This is what we mean by rhyme. ده اللي احنا بنسميه الرايم، اللي هو السجع الموسيقي by the end of every line. Today modern poems don't always follow these rules. وكلنا عارفين كل البويمز الجديدة ممكن يبقى الكلمات مش rhyming مع بعض. And that is very important. They may have other no words that rhyme or words that partly rhyme. يعني ايه؟ يعني ممكن ال words they rhyme at the end، في آخر الجملة يبقى فيهم rhyme، فيهم سجع، وممكن يبقى سجع ناقص زي ما كنا بنسميه في العربي. يعني معلش اعذروني، يمكن مش هتكون نفس الألفاظ بالظبط في العربي، لكن انتوا أكيد عارفين أحسن إنه بيبقى الصوت ممكن في سجع بس مش كامل، مش كل الكلمات they give the same sound. وأحيانا there is no rhyme، يعني ما فيش rhyme at the end، كل كلمة بتخلص بصوت مختلف. Many modern poets do not really follow any rules at all. حديثا ما فيش حد بيتبع هذا but their poems work very well. بقى في عندنا كتير من الحاجات المرتجلة واللي مش دايما فيها rhyme. طب ناخد شوية questions تخص البويم، بتخص الرولز بتاعتنا و what did Emily Dickinson do وإيه الستايل of Emily Dickinson and what did she do. Emily Dickinson's poems, they break the usual rules, right or not? Did they break the usual rules? Thank you very much. Her poems were certainly different to most the poems at that time. لما اتكتبت البويمز دي they were really different. Many of her poems had very short lines. كتير من البويمز كان فيها short lines, no titles and sometimes no punctuation. يعني ممكن نوصل انه حتى ما فيش title وما فيش punctuation, which is يعني it seems very difficult for writing a poem. Okay, so are her poems challenging to read? طبعا لما بتكون البويم ليها رايم وليها سجع وليها نسق واحد it's easy to read. But when they don't have this, ما فيهاش رايم، ما فيهاش نسق كله that is equal, it is difficult to read. So is it challenging to read? Yes, it's challenging to read. Most of them were changed by her publishers. اللي نشروا غيروا كل البويمز بتاعتها. that they are more like normal poems. غيروهم عشان يبقوا زي normal poems لأنه they were really very difficult to read. When she was a child, she was good at both writing and playing the piano. كانت ممتازة في الكتابة and playing the piano، وكأن الموسيقى بتمشي مع writing literature. She was an unusual adult. Even when she grew up, she was an unusual adult, and she always wore white clothes, and she spent nearly all her life at home. She was some kind of an introvert person. She didn't like to mingle with people. She spent about half of her time writing poems, the other half helping with the housework. تشتغل في البيت، تكتب poems, and that's it. ما بتعملش حاجة تانية. She was really an unusual adult. She had a few friends, but she didn't like to see them often. زي ما قلنا she was an introvert. يعني ايه introvert؟ يعني شخص انطوائي شوي. وعادة الناس اللي بتحب تقعد لوحدها عادة بيبقى ليهم ميول أدبية. They like to read, they like to write, they like to draw. And this is like Emily Dickinson. She likes to write poems and play the piano. She preferred to write long letters to each friend instead. بدل ما تقعد تقابل صحابها, she liked to write long letters. تكتب جوابات طويلة فيها كل what she wants to say. And she wrote a lot of poems, but most of them were not published. تقريبا ما فيش حاجة منهم اتنشرت until she died in 1886. ودي كانت الرحلة بتاعت Emily Dickinson in writing poems and how very great writer she was. Two men might have asked her to marry them, but she accepted neither of them. She didn't get married. ودي من الجمل اللي احنا ممكن تجيلنا as questions in the exam ويبقى ما فيش إجابة واضحة وصريحة في الكتاب، لكن احنا we draw inferences. يعني ايه we draw inferences؟ يعني احنا بنبتدي نطلع المعنى من جوه السطور. لما أقول اتنين proposed to her to marry but she didn't accept، يبقى معنى كده she didn't get married at all. خلينا نروح للريدنج تكست بما اننا we talked a lot about Emily Dickinson وتكلمنا عن Emily Dickinson وتكلمنا عن البويمز بتاعتنا. طب خلينا نقرا البويم of Emily Dickinson and let's listen to what she said and enjoy it. If I can stop. If I can stop one heart from breaking, I shall not live in vain. If I can ease one life in it, or cool one pain, or help one fainting robin unto his nest again, I shall not live in vain. البويم حلو قوي، ولو خدنا معانيها till the end بيتكلم انه لو انا قدرت to do something يبقى انا اكيد مش in vain، يبقى انا مش شخص useless. لو قدرت ان انا to cool one pain يعني اقدر اساعد في شفاء جراحات شخص او في ألمه، يبقى انا مش in vain. كلها مشاعر انسانية that holds what we want to do to people. If we can give a good word, if we can give a kind heart, if we can give time, if we can do anything, then we are not useless anymore. Let's go for some exercises. وزي ما قلنا جزء مهم عندنا ان احنا to practice. طب خلونا to practice some of the vocabulary words and expressions. Choose the correct answer from A, B, C or D. Let's start with the first. This is vocabulary. فايه الكلمة اللي معناها الكلام ده؟ Becoming unconscious for a short time. فقد الوعي لفترة. قلناها من ضمن الفوكابلري. Thank you very much. So, is it fainting or awake or conscious or dead? طبعا it is fainting لأن fainting يعني بيفقد وعيه. Conscious عكسها. واعي. And of course awake يعني صاحي، ونخلي بالنا عشان ال similar meanings دي اللي ممكن تلخبطنا. Awake يعني صاحي، مجرد واحد صاحي ملهاش علاقة بوعي أو لا. وده طبعا يعني متوفي. So fainting is the right answer. Means to do something without success. بعمل حاجة من غير success. حلو قوي. لسه قايلين دلوقتي لو عملت ده it's not in vain. Okay. Successfully, in vain, hopefully and magically. يبقى طبعا in vain, thank you very much يعني بدون جدوى، بدون فائدة. Okay, let's move to what is a small brown bird with an orange front. ايه البيرد اللي عندنا اللي اتكلمنا عليه؟ Okay, is it a crocodile? Is it a whale? whale يعني حوت. crocodile تمساح. duck بطة ولا robin that bird اللي قلنا عليه. So thank you very much, it's a robin. Okay, let's go to another one. To do what is to make something less difficult. أعمل إيه يخلي الحاجة أبسط شوية في صعوبتها. to release يعني يطلع حاجة، يخرج حاجة. to ease، to seize، to increase. الكلمات قريبة من بعض جدا، لازم نخلي بالنا. to release يعني يطلع شيء من شيء، زي لما أقول لو أنا عندي stress I need to release stress، وكأنه مكبوت وبطلع الستريس. I release stress. to seize اللي بالسي يعني to stop. seize this يعني stop this. to ease يعني يخفف من حدة حاجة، قريبة جدا من release، لكن release فيها إن حاجة بتخرج وبتنقضي، لكن ease يعني to make something less difficult, less hard. وآخر واحدة to increase يعني يضيف أو يزيد حاجة معدلة. So to ease is to make something less difficult. Okay. The word aching يعني aching، قلنا aching جاية من back ache وجاية من headache. Thank you very much. So the word aching means pain or rain or fan or bean. So definitely it is pain يعني ألم. Okay. Very good guys. What is the opposite of dead؟ محدش يقول لي awake لو سمحتوا. awake يعني مجرد صاحي فايق بس، يعني مش نايم. It's the opposite of asleep. awake is the opposite of asleep. لكن dead يعني مات. It's the opposite of thank you very much يعني حي. Is it live or live or life or alive or death؟ الكلمات هتكون متقاربة جدا. خلوا بالكم امتحاناتنا السنة دي فيها كتير من ذكاء اللغة. It's not about studying. It's not about انه الكلمة دي هتبقى الوحيدة الصح في وسط كل الحاجات دي. لا، هتبقى في كلمات كتير ليها علاقة ببعض، كلمات قريبة جدا من بعض. هتحتاج ان اكون واعي كويس قوي to the word I'm choosing. So if I say the importance the opposite of dead حد ميت، يبقى what is the opposite؟ The opposite is alive يعني حي. By this guys we have reached the end of our episode for today. عملنا مع بعض البويم of Emily Dickinson we read the poem واتكلمنا على الفوكابلري we answered some good exercises وخدنا words with break وكمان خدنا الفانكشن box. I hope that you have enjoyed it. I hope that you have benefited. If you want to see it again or if you missed it and you want anybody else to see it again, please follow it back again on our YouTube channel. قناتنا على اليوتيوب للي محتاج يشوف الحلقة تاني أو فاتته الحلقة ومحتاج إنه يشوفها. Please watch it back again on our YouTube. وزي ما قلنا we're waiting for your comments on the YouTube and even your questions. Waiting to see you all next time. Thank you very much. Stay safe.